While the whole world patiently awaits the news about Donald Trump and his arraignment, there are still questions about whether or not Joe Biden is corrupt. I mean, questions among many on the left. I think most of us understand, yes, he is. He was deeply involved with Hunter Biden's business. He was selling political influence while he was the vice president. And boy, do we have more evidence. Sure. From the Daily Mail. Hunter got a Porsche after bringing Joe to dinner with a Kazakh oligarch. Devon Archer's full testimony on how Biden brand was used as intimidation by Burisma and the then VP's 20 meetings with his son's business partners is released. $142,000 car. Wow. Thanks for bringing Joe around. This is the game. They will say that Joe Biden never actually talked business. He doesn't need to. But of course he did. I mean, it's insane to think that Joe Biden shows up to these business meetings and then speaks nothing of the projects they're working on. But even if that was the case, it's quite simple. Hunter Biden sits down with a powerful oligarch or world leader or whatever and says, I want X, Y, and Z done now. And the world leader says, what are you going to do about it? Then Hunter takes his phone, dials Joe, holds the phone up and says, hey, Dad, I'm sitting here with so-and-so. How are you doing? And then Joe says, I hope everything's going well, my friends. I hope we're having a good time. And the guy goes, okay. That's basically what Devon Archer is explaining. That you can make the argument that Joe Biden never actually told anybody to do anything, but the threat is clear. It's intimidation. The vice president of the United States is on the phone right now saying, I hope everything's working out well for you, son. You know, I always got your back. Sends a clear message to those at the negotiating table of what they really mean. And of course, then Joe can be like, I don't know what he was talking about. Come on. Hunter Biden's ex-business partner, Devon Archer, told Congress that Joe Biden's intimidating influence directly led to his son receiving huge sums of foreign money and a $142,300 Porsche. According to the full transcript of this testimony obtained by Daily Mail on Thursday, Archer said that the Biden brand acted as protection for Ukrainian oil company Burisma because people would be intimidated to mess with them. Hunter's presence on Burisma's board and access to his father, then vice president, led to the company's longevity because they had the capabilities to navigate D.C., Archer said, according to the transcript. Now, of course, we know, thanks to Tucker Carlson's interview with Devon Archer, Joe Biden sent him a thank you letter. That's right. Joe Biden sent Devon Archer a thank you letter saying, sorry, I couldn't be there. Here's a letter. Thank you. Why? I thought he never talked to his son's associates. I thought he had nothing to do with any of this. You get it. Joe Biden, like so many other political elite families, was doing exactly what we expected them to do. Sell our nation's soul for cash for themselves. That's the name of the game. Donald Trump's no saint. Donald Trump had Trump properties advertised on government websites. Not a good thing either. Not a good thing either. I think Trump should be heavily criticized for a lot of what he did, but when I look at the scale of good and evil, nobody's perfect. Nobody hits everything perfectly. It's impossible. I look at the Biden family and I see a massive net negative. They skew into the evil side. I see Donald Trump doing things that I think are wrong, but I think overwhelmingly the positive things he did put him into the net positive side. Maybe it's only by 1.2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But the Abraham Accords were good. Peace in the Middle East. Can you believe it? A timeline for the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Big fan. Not a fan of nation building. Destroying ISIS. Donald Trump did a lot of things very well. Yeah, he did some bad things he should be called out for. And I will stress, we should have a criminal investigation into the death of the 8-year-old American girl who was killed in a commando raid in Yemen. I'd like to know what happened, how it happened, and who's responsible. Maybe that's Trump. He ordered it. Big difference between Barack Obama blowing up an American citizen by dropping a bomb on a civilian restaurant in a country we're not at war with. But I say no special treatment. None. Of course, as I often say, they'll never go after Donald Trump for that because then they'd have to go and arrest Obama. And probably Joe Biden, too. There you go. I don't think anything you can accuse Trump of would rise to the level of what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were doing. If, you've got a Trump property advertised on a government website, that's just like, hey, don't do that, man. That's not a criminal action. That's just, don't do that. Donald Trump wanted to have the G7 at Trump Doral in Florida. Everyone said no. And he said, fine, sure, whatever. Yeah, that's it. Slap on the wrist. Don't do it. Have a nice day. Hunter Biden was peddling influence for a long time. Joe Biden's brother was getting lucrative contracts, according to Politico magazine. And there were questions about, I believe directly to Joe, about what he would do to stop his brother and his son from profiting off his position. It's like, oh, they're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, Joe was profiting off of his position. Hunter's best friend and business associate sat with him on Burisma's board beginning in 2014. They also started Rosemont Seneca Partners, an investment advisory firm, together. He confirmed that Hunter put Joe on speakerphone 20 times during business meetings over a 10-year period, which was a signal of value. And Hunter used his dad as defensive leverage. He also told lawmakers that Joe sat and had dinner in person on at least 2 occasions with Hunter and his foreign business partners, who then wired money almost immediately after to Biden-affiliated companies. In the spring of 2014, Joe joined Hunter and a handful of his business partners for dinner at Cafe Milano in D.C. Those at the dinner included Kenes Rakishev, Kerem Masimov, Yelena Baturina, and possibly Eric Schwerin. Archer confirmed that Joe was present long enough to eat dinner with the group. Following the dinner, $3.5 million was wired from Russian billionaire Yelena Baturina into Rosemont Seneca Thornton on February 14th. On April 22nd, $142,300 was wired into Rosemont Seneca Bohai account from Kenes Rakishev, a businessman from Kazakhstan, who was also at the Cafe Milano. The payment was made as a gift to Hunter, who received an expensive car. Archer told the committee, I believe it was a Fisker first and then a Porsche. Really amazing stuff. Hunter took a picture of himself while driving a Porsche 172 miles per hour on a highway outside Las Vegas in 2018, according to pictures found on his abandoned laptop. It was not immediately clear if the Porsche gifted by Hunter was the same vehicle, but I think we can just go ahead and assume it probably was. The then vice president also sat in on another dinner with Hunter and his partners in 2015 at Cafe Milano. During another dinner with Burisma executives at the Four Seasons, Hunter said he would be able to get help from D.C. in order to relieve some government pressure on the company. Archer testified that Burisma was getting pressure, and as a result, they requested Hunter, help them get some of that with some of that pressure. He said it was government pressure from the ongoing Ukrainian investigation into the company at the time, led by top prosecutor Shokin. But yes, there was constant pressure, and it was like whack-a-mole in regards to the pressures they had to resolve, said Archer. He said that the Burisma executives weren't specific in asking directly, can the big guy help? Rather, they used amorphous terms like, can we get help in D.C.? And it's already been reported that they reached out to D.C. And then what happened? Hunter Biden's father personally flies to Ukraine and says, I will block $1 billion in loan guarantees unless you fire the prosecutor. And they did. It's all laid out right in front of us, what Joe Biden was doing. And here he sits as some pathetic, demented old man being held up. And this is what offends me the most. The Biden crime family. Stop making him sound so cool. He's just a dirty politician who has brain injuries. Okay. And this is where we're at. The exploitation, the manipulation. This is what we get. This is what we get in this country. It's amazing. In 2016, Joe Biden is alleged to have threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid. Alleged to have? Joe Biden admitted to doing it. Amazing. Archer added that Hunter Biden would refer to his father as my guy, which Republicans noted following the closed-door testimony. According to the transcript, Hunter was getting paid a lot of money by Burisma and wanted to show value by getting credit for Joe Biden's Ukraine trip in 2014. I can't guide my father in what he's going to do on this trip, but let's get credit for it, Archer said Hunter was thinking by referring to his dad as my guy. Exhibit 2 in the attachments also showed Hunter on email as Robert, writing to Archer in April 2014 saying, our guy needs to set himself up as the anti-Viktor Pinchuk, coal and steel oligarch. At the time, Joe Biden was leading the U.S. anti-corruption efforts abroad. You see what the game is here? Man, this stuff pisses me off. These people are evil. They have sold us out and they are burning our country to the ground. And it's your future. It's your kids' future. Vote Trump 2024 is all I can say. We'll see. I'm a big fan of Vivek. I'm interested to see what the Libertarian Party has to offer, but I'm here to win. And the Republicans better step up. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.